The early morning sun crept slowly over the horizon, spreading a gentle golden light across the sleepy village of Eldenwood. Each beam of sunlight seemed to awaken the village slowly, brushing across the thatched roofs of cottages, glinting off the cobblestone streets, and illuminating the soft mist that clung to the rolling meadows. Birds began their morning songs, a symphony of chirps, whistles, and trills, echoing off the distant hills. The wind whispered through the leaves of ancient trees, carrying stories of long-forgotten times and untold secrets. The scent of dew-laden grass mingled with the aroma of freshly baked bread from the village bakery, creating a comforting yet mysterious atmosphere. Among the villagers was a young girl named Leora, who had always been curious about the world beyond Eldenwood. With her dark hair tied in a loose braid and eyes wide with anticipation, she stepped out of her humble cottage. Her hands clutched a small leather satchel, filled with herbs and small trinkets she had collected during her morning walk through the meadows. Leora had always been fascinated by the legends whispered by the elders, tales of enchanted forest that lay just beyond the stone bridge, and the guardian who protected it. Many had ventured close to the forest's edge, but few dared to step beyond, fearing the unknown. As she walked toward the old stone bridge, the sound of her footsteps mingled with the rustle of leaves and the distant song of a river. Each step brought her closer to the threshold of adventure, and her heart raced in anticipation. The bridge, worn and moss-covered, seemed alive with history. Carvings in the stone told stories of travelers who had come before her, their tales etched into the very fabric of Eldenwood. Some said the guardian of the forest could sense the intentions of those who crossed its path, revealing itself only to the pure of heart. Leora paused for a moment, feeling the weight of the moment pressing upon her. Her mind wandered to the stories she had heard as a child, of spirits who guided wanderers, of magical creatures hidden among the trees, and of an ancient power that lay dormant, waiting for the right person to awaken it. She took a deep breath, inhaling the crisp morning air, and whispered a silent prayer to the spirits of the forest for guidance and protection. With cautious steps, she crossed the bridge, each stone beneath her feet echoing in the quiet morning. The forest loomed ahead, dense and mysterious, with sunlight filtering through the canopy in scattered beams. Shadows danced across the undergrowth, and the air smelled of earth and moss. Leora felt a thrill of fear, but also a surge of determination. She had been chosen, in ways she could not yet understand, to uncover a secret that had been buried for centuries. As she ventured deeper, the sounds of the village faded, replaced by the whispers of the forest. Birds flitted between branches, and small animals rustled in the underbrush. Leora kept her satchel close, knowing that every herb and trinket might prove useful on her journey. She followed a narrow path, marked by stones and faint markings that seemed almost deliberate, as if guiding her forward. The path twisted and turned, leading her to a glade bathed in soft sunlight. In the center of the glade stood an ancient oak, its massive trunk scarred by time yet standing tall, proud, and unwavering. Leora approached the oak, feeling a strange energy emanating from it. The air around her seemed to hum with life, and a gentle breeze carried the faint sound of voices, as if the trees themselves were speaking. She placed a hand on the rough bark, closing her eyes and letting the energy flow through her. Memories, visions, and whispers of the past danced before her eyes, images of travelers, guardians, and secrets long forgotten. She understood, in that moment, that she was not merely walking into the forest. She was stepping into a story that had awaited her arrival for generations. Hours passed as she explored the glade and surrounding forest, discovering hidden streams, delicate flowers, and signs of creatures both mundane and magical. Each discovery filled her with awe and wonder, reinforcing the sense that Eldenwood and its forest were alive in ways she had never imagined. The forest seemed to recognize her presence, guiding her steps, and offering subtle signs and paths that would otherwise remain hidden. By midday, Leora came upon a clearing where the sunlight formed a perfect circle upon the forest floor. In the center, partially covered by moss and roots, was an ancient stone tablet etched with symbols and runes. She knelt down, brushing away layers of moss and dirt, her fingers tracing the intricate carvings. The symbols seemed to glow faintly, resonating with the energy she had felt since entering the forest. A sudden rustle of leaves made her look up, and there, at the edge of the clearing, stood a figure. Cloaked in green and brown, blending seamlessly with the forest, the guardian of Eldenwood observed her silently, its eyes wise and ancient. Leora's breath caught in her throat, but she remembered the stories of courage and the guidance she had prayed for. Taking a step forward, she bowed respectfully, acknowledging the presence of the guardian. The figure inclined its head, a gesture of acceptance, and the air around her seemed to shimmer. She knew, at that moment, that her journey was not just about exploration. It was about understanding, growth, and the unlocking of ancient knowledge that had been preserved through time. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Leora found herself filled with a newfound sense of purpose. She had crossed the threshold, met the guardian, and uncovered the first pieces of a story that would change her life forever. With careful steps, she began to make her way back toward the village, carrying not just the herbs in her satchel, but the weight and wonder of a world she had only begun to understand. The forest seemed to whisper its approval, and Leora knew this was only the beginning of an extraordinary adventure that would unfold over many days, challenges and revelations. Her heart swelled with excitement, and as she glanced back at the ancient trees, she promised herself that she would return, ready to face whatever mysteries lay ahead. The following morning, a cool mist enveloped Eldenwood, painting the village and the surrounding forest in shades of silver and green. The faint sound of the river mingled with the songs of morning birds, creating a serene harmony. Leora, now carrying the weight of yesterday's discoveries, walked through the familiar cobblestone streets with a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. Her satchel, now heavier with the forest's treasures and ancient herbs, reminded her of the responsibility that had begun to shape her journey. She passed by the village square, where merchants were setting up their stalls and children laughed as they played in the early sunlight. Villagers greeted her with warm smiles, unaware of the adventure that had already begun to unfold beyond the bridge. Yet, in Leora's heart, a new awareness stirred, the realization that she was part of something far greater than the village itself, a story that stretched across time and nature, waiting for her courage to meet it. Her path led her once again to the stone bridge, each step echoing with memories of the day before. As she approached the forest, the dense canopy welcomed her with shadows and dappled light, whispering secrets only the observant could perceive. Leora followed the narrow path deeper than she had ever dared to go, guided by instinct, knowledge, and the subtle signs left by the forest itself. Twisting roots and hidden streams created both obstacles and passageways, testing her focus and resolve with every step. The air grew cooler and the light dimmer as she ventured farther, yet Leora's determination remained unwavering. She recalled the guardian's silent gaze and the lessons embedded within the energy of the ancient oak. The forest seemed to respond to her presence, bending subtly, opening spaces where previously there had been none. Small creatures observed her cautiously, and an occasional shimmer of wings hinted at hidden magical beings. Leora felt their curiosity and their caution. It was as if the entire forest was both a challenge and a guide, testing her intentions and readiness for the discoveries ahead. After hours of navigating the forest's twisting paths, she found herself at a waterfall cascading into a crystal-clear pool. The sound of water, powerful yet soothing, filled the clearing. Stones lined the pool's edge, polished smooth by years of flowing water. Leora approached carefully, kneeling to examine the surface. Beneath the shimmering reflection, she noticed markings, runes similar to those on the ancient stone tablet she had discovered the day before. The symbols pulsed faintly with energy, hinting at knowledge hidden in plain sight. She traced the markings, whispering the names and meanings she had memorized, each syllable resonating in the quiet forest. Suddenly, the wind shifted, carrying a scent of jasmine and moss, and Leora felt the presence of another. From behind the cascading water emerged a figure, partially cloaked by mist, its features serene yet powerful. The guardian, who had appeared yesterday, now seemed to embody the very spirit of the forest itself. Leora's pulse quickened, yet she stepped forward with courage. The figure's eyes met hers, conveying both challenge and encouragement. In that gaze, Leora understood the depth of the forest's wisdom, the importance of patience, and the essence of the journey that lay before her. Hours turned into a day as Leora followed the Guardian's subtle guidance through hidden trails, secret clearings, and ancient ruins. Each location revealed fragments of stories, forgotten rituals, and lessons embedded in the land itself. She discovered a hidden grove where the air shimmered with light, the ground dotted with rare herbs glowing faintly in the twilight. Each discovery reinforced her sense of purpose, and she meticulously documented the locations and their unique features, knowing they might hold keys to unraveling deeper mysteries. By late afternoon, Leora found herself in a canyon where sunlight barely penetrated the high cliffs. A delicate balance of shadow and light made the place feel suspended between worlds. Here, she encountered an old book, weathered and bound in leather, hidden among moss-covered stones. Its pages contained diagrams, maps, and incantations, interwoven with natural lore and the stories of previous guardians. She pored over the book, her mind absorbing the knowledge, piecing together the connections between Eldenwood, the forest, and the mystical energies that governed them. The day waned, and the forest began to transform under the setting sun. Shadows deepened, and the air grew thick with the scent of pine and wet earth. Leora found a small hollow beneath a massive oak, a natural sanctuary where she could rest. As she sat, she reflected on the day's journey, the hidden signs, the Guardian's silent guidance, and the subtle lessons embedded in every step. She understood that courage was not merely facing the unknown but listening, observing, and respecting the delicate balance of all things. The forest had become both her teacher and her mirror, reflecting her intentions, fears, and determination. Night fell, and the stars appeared through gaps in the canopy. Leora lay beneath the ancient oak, feeling the heartbeat of the forest around her. The Guardian had retreated, yet its presence lingered, a silent acknowledgement of her progress. She felt the intertwining of past, present, and future, understanding that the adventure she had embarked upon was not a singular event, but an ongoing dialogue with nature, history, and the self. With the night sky as her witness, she promised herself to return, to continue the journey, and to embrace the lessons that awaited beyond every twist of the path and every whisper of the wind. Her heart, filled with both awe and determination, knew that tomorrow would bring new revelations, challenges, and the chance to step even closer into the heart of the forest's ancient secrets. The morning sun broke through the dense canopy of Eldenwood, scattering golden beams across the forest floor. Leora stirred from her slumber beneath the ancient oak, the soft rustle of leaves serving as a gentle alarm. She rose slowly, mindful of the forest's rhythm, every step resonating with the lessons she had learned over the past 2 days. Her satchel, filled with sketches, herbs, and notes, was a tangible record of her journey so far, but she knew that the true discoveries awaited deeper in the heart of the forest. She began her trek along a narrow path flanked by towering ferns and moss-covered stones. The forest seemed alive, each movement of the wind and flutter of wings conveying messages she had only begun to understand. As she walked, Leora reflected on the Guardian's presence, the silent, watchful figure that had guided her, not by words, but through the subtle unfolding of events. She realized that every obstacle and every hidden passage was a test of her insight and patience. Hours passed as she navigated twisting roots and streams that sparkled like liquid crystal in the sunlight. The forest revealed itself gradually, offering glimpses of its hidden treasures. Leora discovered a small glade where the air shimmered with an ethereal light, and delicate flowers bloomed in patterns that mirrored ancient runes. She knelt to study them, noting how nature's arrangement seemed to encode stories and wisdom from generations long past. Each pattern, each symbol, was a lesson, teaching her to observe, to respect, and to connect deeply with the world around her. By midday, Leora arrived at a cliffside that overlooked a vast valley below. Mist rose from the valley floor, curling around the trees like a living veil. The guardian appeared silently beside her, a reminder that she was not alone in this journey. Its gaze was calm but penetrating, as if inviting her to step beyond fear and embrace the unknown. Leora felt a surge of courage, knowing that the challenges ahead were as much about understanding herself as about exploring the forest. With careful steps, she descended a hidden path along the cliff, each movement measured and deliberate. The path led to an ancient ruin, its stone walls overgrown with ivy and moss. Symbols and inscriptions adorned the stones, telling stories of those who had come before. Leora traced the carvings with her fingers, feeling a connection across time and space. She discovered a small chamber, its entrance partially concealed by a thicket. Inside, she found artifacts, old tools, a weathered journal, and a pendant that seemed to pulse with energy. As she examined the items, the forest outside whispered through the cracks, reminding her of the delicate balance between discovery and respect. The afternoon sun began to wane, casting long shadows across the ruins. Leora took careful notes and sketches, documenting everything she had found. She understood that knowledge was not merely the accumulation of objects and observations, but the ability to interpret and honor them. The guardian watched silently, a symbol of the wisdom embedded in the forest, ensuring that Leora's intentions remained pure and her heart steady. With every step, she felt herself becoming part of the forest's living story. Evening descended, and the forest transformed under the soft glow of twilight. Fireflies emerged, casting tiny sparks of light across the underbrush. Leora made her way to a secluded stream, its waters reflecting the deepening sky. She paused, feeling the cool water against her hands, and reflected on the lessons of courage, patience, and humility. The journey was as much about internal growth as it was about the exploration of the world around her. She realized that every challenge, every secret path, and every mystical encounter had prepared her to understand not only the forest but herself. Night arrived, blanketing the forest in darkness dotted with starlight. Leora found a safe hollow beneath a massive tree, her final resting place for the night. The guardian's presence was felt even in its absence, a silent acknowledgement of her progress and readiness. As she lay down, Leora reflected on the intertwined threads of fate, nature, and personal growth. She understood that the journey would continue beyond this night, that the forest still held countless secrets, and that she was now equipped with the courage, insight, and respect needed to uncover them. The stars above mirrored the possibilities that lay ahead, each twinkle a promise of discovery, each shadow a challenge to overcome, and each breath a testament to her evolving connection with the world around her.